You do what you got to do. You know, get what damage you can get done, and that's all you really need. And be happy. And I think we could be seeing some Zealot bombs prepping up here. Okay, yeah, unsieging those tanks, very, very smart. I don't even know if there's anything in that shuttle. I think he might have just been threatening it without actually having it, which is pretty funny. But you still have to take it seriously, of course, if you're a Terran player. Using this dropship very smartly for GG to give him vision of that pylon and allowing him to take it down. If there were some forces over there, of course, he could do the same to take those down as well. So nice play here from fOrGG. Looks like he's finally setting up his natural expansion significantly later. I mean, definitely economic victory here goes to Shuttle pretty significantly because fOrGG hasn't really done any damage at all. Looks like he's placing a mine here at the 3 o'clock expansion. Going to make sure, or well, hope that that he can kind of restrict the mass expansion of his Protoss opponent. Looks like fOrGG is going to try and double Expo counter. Here, taking his natural, and he looks like he's also setting up to take his third, which he can partially defend from his main. He can get some help. He does need some forces on the ground as well. It's not as defendable as, say, like Destination from your main. It's not. I don't think it's as easy to do. You will need some forces on the ground, but it is at least partially defendable. So it gives you some advantage there, some tactical advantage to defend that when you go for this double expand. But he has a decent, he still has a decent number of forces. It looks like he has about 7 tanks and some vultures as well. And it looks like Shuttle actually has 2 shuttles. Look at that, Shuttle with 2 shuttles. Probably one for Reaver and one for Zealot bombs. Looks like he's going in right now. Might be doing a pseudo bulldog here. And 2 wraiths being produced! 2 wraiths being produced! Where did that come from? Did not expect to see that. Both shuttles are going to go down. He's going to be forced to drop the Reaver. Oh, man! Wraiths! Where did those wraiths come from? That is crazy! I did not expect to see the wraiths. That was huge play. 2 shuttles. 4 Zealots, well, presumably 4 Zealots, and a Reaver all going down. That is so expensive. That is over 1,000 minerals lost there for Shuttle. Wow! Did not expect to see those rates at all. And wow. I am so impressed right now. That was a crazy, awesome play. I don't know if he knew about the second shuttle, but he definitely knew about the one, and he produced those specifically to stop any sort of a Reaver harassment, and it worked wonderfully. That was beautiful. I love it. That was awesome. That was a really sweet play there by fOrGG, and that is going to give him a lot of help here in terms of getting to the mid game. I was really concerned for him. I really thought that he had he was going to be at a disadvantage in the mid game because of Shuttle's huge economic advantage, but definitely that victory gives him the time to set up his second and third bases. Definitely gives him time to resecure his mid game position. So that was a great, fantastic play. So his third base is actually going to be up faster than the third base of Shuttle. Shuttle is setting up now as we speak. Also getting Arbiters out right now, and getting some upgrades as well. I haven't seen the armor yet for fOrGG. I assume it's somewhere. Yeah, there's one. And I assume it's spinning. Yes, it is spinning. So we're getting upgrades now as well. Getting a lot of factories down. I think he's up to 7 factories-ish, something like that, for fOrGG at this point, and Dragoons just marauding around the map, taking down whatever they can. Gonna open up the door to possible future expansion. So that mine is gonna go off. Yes, it did go off, and then damages a couple Dragoons. Unfortunate. And he's going to take the top right expo. That's right. He's going to take the top right expo. And we got Wraith just still marauding around, and Flash looks kind of concerned here, but I think he's got to be pretty happy overall. STX, so that was Calm, and I think that was Washington over there on the right, and I didn't get a good look at the person on the left. But yeah, definitely look very, very intensely watching this game. This is huge. I don't think STX Seoul has a legitimate chance to catch KT Rolster in terms of the standings, but they have an outside shot of it. KT Rolster the first 2 rounds did so well, and I don't believe Winners League counts at all in terms of the overall Pro League thing. So I don't think that they're actually really have a good chance to catch them. But you know. I mean, when you get the wins against that team, it's a two-game swing, and you might have an opportunity there. You know, if you play your cards right, you could. So they definitely want to get this win. Try to get that for number 1 seed. Difficult, I would definitely say, but they have some time to do it. If KT maybe goes on a little mini slump or something, STX could definitely close the gap. STX is a very, very strong team, an extremely deep team, the deepest team in my opinion. They have so many players that they can throw out that they are in a good position a lot of times. And it looks like fOrGG's pushing across the map a little bit. Pretty tank heavy right now. Doesn't have a lot of vultures overall. Has a couple raids here to try and pick at the arbiters. If Shuttle was to just spam a round of zealots, I think he could probably run right by these vultures and get right into the tank lines and do a lot of damage. But it looks like he's more interested in just playing a huge macro game. He's setting up that top right base. Doesn't look like he really wants to engage at all. And fOrGG is just doing a slow crawl across the map. He might even end up taking the 6 o'clock base. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see that. Terran opponents, Terran players oftentimes will expand towards their Protoss opponent to put the initiative on the Protoss, to force them to act, to get them to charge into their tank lines, things like that. You know, if you can set up your D at your expos and it just happens to be very close to your opponent, you know, that's really nice, especially because that oftentimes gives you a ramp or a somewhat defensible position. Not so much in this case, there is no ramp or anything, but on other maps like say Eye of the Storm or something, if you get vertical positions and your Terran opponent takes the 3 or the 9, you know, that type of thing. It's definitely really good for a Terran player. And it looks like here we go, coming in for a flank here from Shuttle. Gonna get a nice stasis off there, kicking off 2 of the tanks, and a huge flank. This is a huge flank coming from 2 huge broadsides. And like I said, just not enough vultures there. And he's gonna be able to take out these initial tanks. And honestly, he can really push in there and take out the rest of these tanks too. If he micros this correctly and doesn't have his zealots attacking vultures instead of running by. But yeah, his zealots are attacking vultures. But so not going to be able to. So he's going to have to stop here. But still, overall successful attack. Kept most of his dragoons alive. Lost his zealots, which, you know, you're supposed to lose your zealots. You're supposed to attack until you lose your zealots. And took down a few tanks and some vultures and some other things. So held that push back a little bit. Definitely what he wants to do. But he cannot afford to allow fOrGG down this ramp very far. Because if fOrGG gets down that ramp, that third base for Shuttle becomes extremely hard to impossible to hold. So it's going to be really important here that he defends and keeps fOrGG at the top of this ramp and stops him from getting down. You can see fOrGG really wants to get down. I think he's maybe sending some vultures down there, sending some mines or something like that. Setting up for a science facility here as well. So he's going to be able to get some higher upgrades there. I assume +1 weapons is maybe almost done, if not completed for Terran. And I don't know what Protoss upgrades are. They should both have +1 weapons, I think, at this point. And it's a matter of how many, if there's a second armory and whatnot. And vultures have come to that third base and really done some damage there. It doesn't look like there's a lot of probes there. And it looks like, here we go, another push out coming in from Shuttle, getting stasising a couple tanks.